Popcorned Planet Inside Nerd Report. Oh my God, my favorite. So glad to be here with my man Lewis. I gotta look up here. That's where the camera is. We have breaking news. Breaking news. In fact, I should see if we can get our lawyer Christopher Melcher to call in. That'd be awesome to get, because I'd love to get his insight on this. There it is. Yeah. It worked. Let me ask. Literally doing this live. Hey, Christopher, I know we just hung out, but let me know if you have a second to just call in. I could probably call you in from the phone, speakerphone. You could tell us your thoughts on Amber Heard countersuing her insurer and says it does have to cover the $8.3 million she owes Johnny after being found liable in the blockbuster defamation lawsuit. I'd love your thoughts, or even if you could just text us something. We are here live at Lewis Nerd Report. Thank you, sir. Christopher Melcher, the best. Let's see if he gets a chance to respond to us. But yeah, I saw this break in as I was driving around. I haven't had as much time to really go into it, so I thought we'd break this together. Lewis?
Yeah, I'm down.
As we see here that now apparently New York Marine and General Insurance Company is claiming it should cover her losses. Amber's saying that they should be covering her losses from the defamation trial. She's now filed a countersuit, guys, against them. Now, as you know, she was ordered to pay $8.3 million to her ex. She took out a $1 million policy with the insurer. The company argued it shouldn't pay because the jury found Amber committed willful misconduct. Now, Lewis, right out the gate, that's pretty amazing that even the insurance company... Look, I'm not here usually for insurance companies because they don't always have our back, right? They don't. But in this case, I'm kind of on team insurance company because they're like, girl, you did not win this. We're not going to cover you for willful misconduct, which is honestly what they found out. So she's now arguing that Heard argues, well, she had an unconditional deal with the company and that it should protect her no matter what. What do you think of this? Should an insurance company... It's hard because, you know, if we're taking Amber out of it, you always want your insurance company to cover you. However, if you're doing things illegally on purpose, right? If you're knowingly, oh, that just happened. If you're knowingly committing these acts and defaming people, etc., should the insurance company pay for it?
Keyword willful. Insurance is there for accidents.
Yep.
This is not an accident. It was a scam job that went wrong for her.
Yeah.
So that's the keyword. Insurance companies are a business, unfortunately, and they don't always have our best interest in mind, like you said.
Right.
Even if it wasn't her fault, there'd probably be a massive deductible. I don't know how that works with this type of insurance. Keyword willfulness.
Nate is here. As I work on that. Welcome to the show, Nate. We can hear you.
Hey,
you're talking, but such an honor to have you, sir. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, folks, but Lewis Studio kicks ass. I just took over, and I don't know how to use the studio. It's not Lewis's fault at all, just so I do be clear. I like to run, I like to make fun of you sometimes, Lewis, as a brother, but this one's not his fault. This one's all my fault. But as we listen to you, Nate, welcome to the show. What are your thoughts on this case?
I think Amber is getting extremely desperate. And this argument is desperate because, just so we all understand what's happening here. In California, the law in California, when you sign for insurance, is that insurance doesn't have to cover intentional acts. So they don't have to. So her argument that they have to cover her and them unconditionally is just not true. That's just not accurate. They just only thing they have to do is point to the provisions of law. I think this is also interesting how at first, remember she was saying that she was stateless because she was trying to avoid the lawsuit. Now all of a sudden she's giving that up because I don't know if you guys saw a couple of days ago, she had essentially said they came to some agreement. Yes. Now I'm thinking that agreement was like, we're gonna force you to prove that you're living overseas or somewhere else. And I'm assuming she couldn't prove that. So her best defense was a good offense. Well, let me just sue them and try to force them to pay. But again, like the insurance companies, like every sane person on the planet knows, insurance doesn't cover intentional acts. They cover mistakes. I can't burn down my house and file for insurance. It just does not happen that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And sorry, I think our audios are now sorted out. Now we got Nate. There he is. We can see his beautiful face. And we got ours. There he is. I hope you can hear us now, guys. I think we sorted out. All right. So, but so this is just, you see this as a shot of desperation here. There.
Yeah.
I mean, the question is like, because it is an interesting question. Taking Amber out of it, like we want our insurance companies to protect us. At the same time, like she bought $1 million plan and she did lie. So are they on the hook to do so?
Well, in terms of there's they do have to defend you. And I think that's kind of the gray area here, is because Travelers is saying, well, the insurance, we're supposed to defend you until a certain point. And then when a jury comes in and says it's intentional, then we can stop then. But you have this right to a defense from the insurance company, because if you didn't, then it would be kind of nonsense to have insurance because they're only paying for the end. So I think that's her argument is essentially, I paid you for defense and you guys didn't cover my defense. But I think New York Marine has a very good counter to that, where New York Marine is saying you have a $1 million policy. So why would we pay $8 million to lawyers if your policy is only $1 million? We would only pay out to $1 million. It doesn't make any sense. We're going to cover you 8 times the policy. So I think there's a lot of details here that we're just not aware of. And the question I have for you guys is that, how the hell is she paying for all these lawyers? She's paying, she's got this lawsuit here, she's got the appeal, she's got these other lawsuits. Who's splitting paying this bill? That's a lot of money for all these different cases.
Well, she had, sorry, I'm trying to make sure we boost our levels too. It should be a little bit better. She had another whole insurance firm that was doing it, correct? At a certain point, the other one that's still on the hook, I don't think is suing her, right? Was paying this too. She's had multiple insurance companies covering this, right?
Yes. Because I'm thinking this is what happened. I think she had multiple insurance companies covering it, because I think she really believed that Johnny, I'm assuming she felt that she was going to get caught out there in a defamation suit because of the op-ed. And that's why, if you notice, before she did the op-ed, she took out these insurance policies really right before the op-ed.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, and I think I've boosted my level. Hopefully this. Sorry, guys. Lewis's studio is fine, but I just have to adjust my end, and we'll lower him a bit. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like desperation to me as we look at this document. It's just like, yeah, why would $1 million policy cover 8.3 million, especially if she's found to be guilty of being willful? Like, at a certain point, I hate to agree with an insurance company, but yeah, it sure seems like in this case, the insurance company's like, whoa, we got to pump the brakes on this. We've already done more than we probably should have, but we did our obligation. And now you don't get to come back and keep claiming more and more and more. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very strange. Can you also put that off so you don't keep that vibrating?
Seems like
strange. Go ahead. Yeah, what were you saying?
No, I'm saying it sounds like Travelers like went all out. We're going to give you the money. We're going to give you everything, and we're going to make it so you do your, we're going to get you paid. We're going to defend you as much as possible. And I think Signore Marine was like, you don't get to pick your own lawyers. We're going to send our lawyers, right? We pay for the lawyers. If you want us to defend you, we're not going to pay $8 million. We got a legal team that's going to cost us a reasonable amount, and we're going to go do it this way. And it seems like Amber, from all the filings, it seems like Amber didn't really like that. She was like, I want to pick my own people. And New York Marine is kind of like, well, listen, if you're going to pick your own people, we don't want to pay for those people. We're paying for an attorney. And if you don't want our attorney, you can do whatever you want. So I think that's also kind of the push and pull here, is because New York Marine is not stupid. Your policy is only $1 million. Why are we paying $8 million? And why are we going to use attorneys that we don't know? We're going to use our attorneys. And now I think Amber's saying, well, you should be forced to pay for the attorneys I chose and to pay more than my policy, which is $4 or $5 million. So it
sounds like something Amber would do. Right, Lewis?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. I think the key here is the taking out a $1 million policy, but I think the bots are gonna make it seem like the insurance company's bad and Amber is a victim again, and this is intentional, Nate and Andy. So it's like, you can't go on a on a scam spree and then expect to get insured. It's not an accident once again. Right, Nate?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you expect this to go nowhere?
Since all right, so there's so many different lawsuits that are happening here. You have so just so everybody understands where we're at. Travelers initially sued New York Marine saying, you're insuring Amber too. We want some of that money. You should pay some of the legal fees for the cost. So that was that lawsuit. So the New York Marine was like, well, now since she's been found to be intentionally had done this with actual malice, we don't have to cover anything. So that's so then they sued Amber saying, well, hey, we want a judge to look at our contract, to look at the policy, and to say, well, do we have to cover Amber Heard? Because if we don't, then we're not. And based on California law, when you read the law, it says clearly there that if you're found that if it's an intentional act, they don't have to cover. So I think they have that. But then now Amber is countersuing New York Marine, saying, well, the policy you had with us says, I'm covered no matter what for intentional acts or whatever. So that's where it seems. So who's going to win that legal argument? New York Marine has the law on their side. Amber Heard has Fugazi on her side. So who's going to win that argument? But then it's interesting because Travelers is also kind of siding with Amber in this argument, because if Amber wins, then they get millions of dollars from New York Marine. So there's so much going on here. It's like a huge pot mess. And I think New York Marine probably has the best argument. And I think Travelers is screwed because if they're, Travelers ain't getting that money back. Now, the question for you guys is, why is Travelers so involved with Amber? Like, why the hell are they paying so much money for Amber, even though they know she intentionally did this? I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's weird. The who's footing the bill. I mean, even for an insurance company, it's a lot to ask for, but she manages to trick a lot of people.
Maybe it's some sort of weird PR move.
Yeah, or she's got dirt on somebody. I mean, everyone's been alluding to that with Elon and others. I know it's conspiracy theory, but I don't know. I don't know. It seems like she did have some, but as time and time goes on, it does feel like she's losing more and more of that. Because even if you were to come forward with it, who's going to believe you at this point? Her credibility is just shot. Look, I'd be remiss to not ask you, how are things going with Boozy?
Oh, the Boozy Bucks!
Send those Boozy Bucks to Nate, to Lewis, to myself. Any updates on the Boozy nonsense?
Yeah. So I'm sorry if my mic is popping. So we do have a couple of updates. The first update is that obviously we served and get the process started with Boozy. So we served. So we tried to serve him, and Boozy obviously was running. He was running from the process server. He went in for the door. Like, he was trying to evade process like crazy.
Jesus.
Yeah. So the process server tried like 7 times. He was like, yo, we don't know what's going on. Is this guy just is there, but he's hiding out in the kitchen and all this other stuff. So I was like, all right, we got to deal with this again. So eventually, it seems like he got a high-priced law firm. This is the same law firm that's covering the Amber Heard appeal. So Amber Heard's lawyers are now covering Boozy. And this law firm takes about $30,000 to $50,000 retainer. So this is a major law firm. They represent Twitter. Now, the first thing you'd say is, well, how does Boozy have the money for this high-priced law firm? Because don't forget, Boozy already has the judgment against him from his landlord for like 10 grand. Now he has a judgment coming down from Goodman in another defamation lawsuit that I'm going over tonight on my channel at 8 o'clock, where he's defaulted in that lawsuit. And all of a sudden he's got $50,000 to fight our lawsuit. It just doesn't make any sense. But the theory is, and again, this is all speculation, is that Boozy was paid by Amber Heard's legal team to do his bot Sentinel research, right? The hit job that he wants to do. Everybody who says bad things about Amber is part of this conspiracy to destroy Amber. So he's been in communications with those attorneys. So now our lawsuit may put that in jeopardy, because we're going to be looking for those communications, right? Hey, you're coming after me because you're doing the bidding of this person.
Right.
But now, between Amber and her attorneys, that would be attorney-client privilege. There's a question between Boozy and her attorneys, because Boozy's a client, whether that would be privileged, because this is a totally different case. So the theory is that they're taking on this case because Boozy's case is maybe like a couple of thousand, maybe if let's say $100,000 case, where you have an Amber Heard case, which is a $10 million case. So it just might just be like, hey, just so we don't want this stuff to get out, just because we want to protect this bigger case, let's try to nip this one in the bud, or let's just throw some wrenches in the engine to try to stop it up. So right now it seems like that's what they're doing. They wanted to move it to federal court. They're doing like a whole bunch of stuff, even stalling a little bit. So we think that seems to be what happens. But again, that's all speculation. Right now, Boozy's represented by counsel, and we're kind of waiting for the response. Essentially, we know what they're going to say in their response. It would be a kind of malpractice not to say certain things. So we've already kind of had our response written. We already know what we're going to say in response to it, and we'll see. And hopefully, if we can get, the goal is to get to discovery. And if we get to discovery, I think, we don't forget, we got Meghan Markle, we got Amber Heard.
Yep.
There's so much that he's been involved with that discovery could be, really explosive, especially if we can get that stuff that is not privileged between him and Amber Heard's attorneys, the people he said he's done work for. And that could be explosive stuff. It could be explosive stuff. So that's what we're hoping for. And tonight, he essentially has defaulted on the Goodman lawsuit. So Goodman has filed for his default judgment. So Goodman now could own Bot Sentinel, because the judge can say, okay, because he lost the lawsuit. Essentially, if you default, you lose the lawsuit. And Goodman, if the judge signs his default lawsuit, he could technically own Bot Sentinel. So we're waiting for that. So if that happens, that's another bomb that happens. So Boosie's got a lot of issues that he has to deal with. But now, at the end of the day, we think that we're probably going to be able to get the justice that we're looking for. It's just taking time, and I know a lot of people out there are like, Nate, we need to know right now. But again, court is a slow process. Look at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. That took 4 or 5 years to get to court, right? So I'm hoping it won't go that long because we don't have that many witnesses and stuff. But we are looking at a lengthy process. But again, if we can get at least to the discovery part, where past the motion to dismiss phase, where we're starting to look at documents and stuff, we think that will be very productive, because again, we want to win our case, and we think that's the way we're going to win our case.
Yeah, I mean, this process takes forever, as people should know, because even the Britney case still going on. Like these will not be quick things. But my question was, when Boosie sort of confidently announced, like, Amber Heard's attorney's repping me, do you think that was actually the attorney was happy he did that? Like, that just felt like such a weird, like, why are you owning this? Like, it almost felt like that should have been more off the record of, like, it doesn't need to be public, but he couldn't resist himself. Did you get that vibe too?
Yeah, well, they sent us an email letting us know who the attorney was. So I'm assuming he knew that we were going to let it out too, right? We were going to let it out. And I think he thought we were going to disparage his attorney. Like, Boosie doesn't understand. His attorneys, I'm not going to say anything bad about his attorneys. They're good attorneys. They're good attorneys. Or even they're bad. I don't know, right? Because it's not the attorney. They're doing what they are being paid to do. So, like, Boosie, when he was attacking our attorney, he's a mega guy. It's like, really? Like, there's really no reason to do that. But at this point in time, the reason why I think he did that was because he knew we were going to say it too. These are the people, and he knew we were all going to make that same connection, right? These are the people representing Amber Heard in her current lawsuit, and all of a sudden they're representing you, and we're claiming that you are working for Amber. Like, it's not too crazy to put some of the dots together, right? Who's paying?
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden, and I think most people understand, where the tea leaves lead. But again, we don't know that for a fact, and we'll see, because we will be looking to find out.
To quote Dory in the comments, Boosie is going to losey. Oh, I love it. I can't wait for it. I would not want to be on that ship, of the Amber Boosie ship. Lewis, would you?
No, but personally, I think you can't beat Boosie the Clown. I think that's the best one. So far. Yeah, that one's unbeatable right now. Boosie the Clown, though.
Boosie the Clown.
Vote in the comments. Which one's your favorite?
Yeah, favorite names for Boosie. I have a rando, or I have the Boosie bot mask now ready for if we need to talk to the Boosie bot Sentinel. I'll have to bring you on sometime when I'm back in my studio. You can ask your questions finally, and Nate, and hopefully get some answers. Well, I'm excited, man. Good for you and all you do. And you guys, know where to support Nate the Lawyer. I'd show it up if I knew how to use this studio, but Lewis's studio is not mine. You know it is to be in someone else's studio. But go support Nate the Lawyer on YouTube and Twitter, and make sure you give him some love as we clip this portion of the show. I don't know if I'm going to put my end card here because it's complicated, but thanks for watching. If you didn't watch the full stream, which we're about to do right now, we're gonna have so much more fun. So don't go anywhere. But if you missed it, hit that join button. You can also, did I do it? Yeah, I got the subscribe button. Wow, I did it. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell, hit the all alerts, hit the like, and you can hit that join right there as well to pick a tier and join and watch all the replays at your leisure.